This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
I'd always hoped my 16th birthday would be the moment I came into my witch powers. That was the way it worked in books and movies, right? You turned a certain age, something important happened, and then bam, the magic ignited. Since I lived on an island full of supernaturals, I should have known better. That wasn't how our magic worked. Yet, as the only supernatural on the island that still showed no sign of any magic, I held on to the hope that maybe on this birthday, something would change. I mean, my biological mother was one of the most powerful witches born in the past century. So why was my magic non-existent? No one knew. I sat in my room in the castle after the party, surrounded by my presents, but I was only focused on the invitation in my hand. It was from the mage, Iris, the event coordinator on Avalon, asking me to apprentice by her side for the next 2 years. It pissed me off. A knock on the door pulled me out of my thoughts. I could tell it was my best friend Torrance, just from the pattern of the wraps. "Come in," I said, dropping the invitation onto my lap. Torrance waltzed into my room, her long auburn hair flying behind her, and situated herself on the end of my king-size bed. "I knew you were pissed about that one," she said, glancing at the invitation. "Can you blame me?" I huffed. "Iris is just trying to give me something to do, instead of the magic classes I'm barely passing every year." I would have failed my magic classes if it weren't for the written portions of the tests, because I understood magic theory perfectly well. Magic practice, on the other hand, was a different story. It was impossible to practice magic when my magic didn't exist. "Yeah," Torrance agreed. "It sucks." One of the things I loved about my best friend was that she never sugarcoated anything. I picked up the invitation again and glared at it. As I did, a buzz started from my toes, growing up through my body until it reached my hands. My insides felt like branches of a tree igniting, crackling, and popping with electricity. I gathered the electricity until it was buzzing below the surface of my skin, and sent it flying out at the piece of paper in my hand. In my mind, the paper burst into flames and turned to ashes. In reality, nothing happened. "You're staring at that invitation like you expect it to spontaneously combust," Torrance said. "That's what I just tried to do," I said. "I felt the magic. It wants to come out. It's just stuck." I shrugged, because this was nothing Torrance hadn't heard before. I'd told everyone about how I could feel the magic inside, wanting to come out, but when the other witches asked me what my magic felt like, they told me it sounded nothing like what their magic felt like when they performed spells. I didn't think they believed me, so I'd stopped talking about it. To everyone except Torrance, of course. Sometimes it felt like she was the only person in the world who still had faith in me. "There's no spell I've heard of that makes anything spontaneously combust," she said simply. "But if you feel like your magic wants to do that, then hey, it'll be cool to see what you'll be able to do when your magic makes an appearance." I was grateful that Torrance held out hope that my magic might emerge someday, but I nodded in agreement, since I also knew there wasn't a spell to make things spontaneously combust. Then I threw the invitation into the fireplace. Once satisfied that it was burned to a crisp, I leaned back into the mound of pillows behind me, still staring into the flames. "So," Torrance said, and I turned my attention back to her. Her green eyes glinted with a look that I knew only meant one thing: trouble.